Uhuru, Dr. Mariah, Uhuru comrades. Welcome,
Yeah,
welcome.
come on in. As we say, you know what time it is, y'all. Come on in. It is that time. Let them know that we're here, One Africa Worldview. It is that time, y'all. Come on in, like, share, subscribe. We are live and we are here. We are here. Come on in.
Uhuru, and we are here, but we about to be over there in ATL
We're here now.
tomorrow.
We're here for now. But
Yes,
we're about to be
yes,
in the A.
yes, gonna be in an 8. Okay. We are going to be at the historic precedent setting appeal hearing for the Uhuru 3, which takes place on July 22nd. We'll talk some more about that later. We've been talking about it for almost every episode now. And we hope to see you there packing the courthouse with us in Atlanta. So excited we get to meet Dr. Mariah in person. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. You're going to be one of our fabulous MCs, media correspondents while there. So very, very excited for this. Let's make history, comrade.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Y'all come. Like you said, we've been talking about it here, and the time is now and it's here. So yeah, we're headed to Atlanta. We want to see you there. So yeah, Atlanta.
Yes.
It's the 22nd, 9
Mm-hmm.
a.m.
Yes.
Federal
Shop.
Courthouse. Let's
Shop. On time.
let's
Shop.
show up, y'all, and let's show out.
Right. And you can visit handsoffuhuru.org for more information about all of the events happening in Atlanta starting tomorrow evening. Again, we'll talk some more about that later on in our show. So make sure you stay with us from the beginning to the end, because as always, and as Dr. Mariah says, we have a show for you. And speaking of, Dr. Mariah, you ready to get into it?
Let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Yoo-hoo. I'm Dr. Mariah, Promotions Director for BlackPower96.3 FM, available to you worldwide on the Black Power mobile app.
Yes, and I am Akile Uhuru. I'm the Director of Media and Communications for the African People's Socialist Party. And you know you are tuned in to the One Africa Worldview podcast that brings you African internationalist analysis on the day's top headlines, dynamic discussions, and presentations from anti-colonial organizers and experts across the globe, and a what end to our struggle against colonialism with real-time ways on how to engage and get involved.
Yeah, y'all. And our show airs, just how we said, on Black Power 96 Radio every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And right now, we're actually in our July member fund drive. So we're raising funds to keep Black Power 96.3 on your FM dial, y'all. And you can support the station and the One Africa Worldview show also by donating at BlackPower96.org/Africa. That's BlackPower96.org/Africa, y'all. And you can scan the QR code that you see right here on the screen as well. And just really just we post our episodes every Thursday. Like we said, it come over on Black Power 96. So let's keep that going, y'all. Support this station. It's your station, community station. Black Power 96.3 FM, y'all. And we also have our episodes over on the Burning Spear Substack, y'all.
That's right. So we are everywhere. We are available. You can tune into the One Africa Worldview podcast and catch our post shows. And for those who are watching us live on the Burning Spear TV YouTube channel, you can help get this out to others who are looking for clarity by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Use the super chat feature to get your comments or questions acknowledged while we are live, and hit that subscribe button and support the platform that brings you anti-colonial news and analysis. We are like none other, okay? And in today's show, we promise you a look at Essence Fest 2026, where our very own comrade Mariah and brother Talmadge worked as Black Power 96 media correspondents right there on the ground in New Orleans. So they exposed the station to new listeners, promoted the Black Power slogan, and captured the activity of one of the biggest Black cultural festivals within the U.S. So today, Dr. Mariah is going to tell us all about that, and we'll show some photos, some videos taken by our very own comrade Talmadge to try and put you in that moment. So again, you also can tune into our show on Black Power 96, and during the show, we will be working to raise funds for Black Power 96, Black Power 96's July member fund drive. It's an annual fund drive to raise resources for the operating expenses for Black Power 96 Radio. And One Africa Worldview show has a goal to raise $1,000 in the month of July. And we'd like to try and do that all in one shot. So if you are listening right now, you're watching right now, and you got the ability to just make it all happen right now with $1,000 in the pot, go ahead to blackpower96.org/Africa, make that contribution. But no donation is too big or too small to contribute. Again, the One Africa Worldview show has a goal of $1,000 to raise. So let's try to raise that today in this episode. And we can do this. We can do this. We have an amazing listenership. We have a great base of supporters, viewers, and listeners. So we believe in you. We can make this $1,000 goal happen. Again, all throughout the month of July, you can support Black Power 96 Radio. You can donate at blackpower96.org/Africa, or you can also send cash via Cash App to $BlackPower96. So there are multiple ways for you to make a contribution.
No excuses, y'all. No excuses.
None. So first things first, if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the Black Power 96 Radio app, because you can tune into us no matter where it is you are around the world. If you have an Apple device, you can go to the Apple App Store. And if you've got an Android device, go ahead to the Google Play Store, download Black Power 96 mobile app. You can listen to this show. You can listen to the Omali Taught Me Sunday Study, Black Power speeches, and of course, the amazing dynamic programs of Black Power 96 station manager, DJ Eddie Molesby. So download the app. And again, multiple ways for you to make contributions. You see the link on the screen, blackpower96.org/Africa. We also have Cash App, $BlackPower96, and you can even mail checks. Yes, we take the written word. Go ahead and mail your checks to Black Power 96 at 1245 18th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33705. You can mail your contribution and make sure you let them know it's the One Africa Worldview, okay? Your favorite show, all right? So your absolute favorite. So we want to go ahead and thank you all for your support, your previous support, your continued support of Black Power 96 Radio. We appreciate you so much. And just to say that the One Africa Worldview podcast is a part of the programming lineup. The replay of this live web show airs, as mentioned by Dr. Mariah, on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And you, again, accessible either on FM in St. Petersburg, Florida, or through our mobile app. And Black Power 96 Radio, let's be clear, it is 100% funded through donations. There is no Capcom or Viacom or something like that, filling the coffers, of Black Power 96. It is funded through your donations. There's no Disney involved. There's none of that. It is purely your support from
It's
listeners.
Your community station, y'all. It's your
Exactly.
station. And you own it. It's your station. So you have to keep it on the air. Yeah.
Exactly. From our listeners to supportive businesses, you, our viewers, you literally are the ones powering institutions like Black Power 96. And On today's special episode of the One Africa Worldview podcast, again, we are raising funds for BlackPower96 Radio, which is an important platform for our community to discuss the African liberation struggle. I mean, I don't know how many radio stations you can tune into, Dr. Mariah, and you hear anti-colonial analysis, even so-called, R&B hip hop stations, that play and regurgitate the same,
It's the same
degrading
thing. Yes, the
same
same
thing.
thing. Where are you
Or
getting your news from? Where are you getting what we
exactly.
really need to hear from our station here, y'all? You heard it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if you're trying to listen to a song, you keep getting interrupted by somebody always trying to sell you something. Always trying to sell you something. And they're normally, most of the time, they're selling you the problem and they selling you the damn treatment. So okay, you don't
begin with.
right. Right. They say they sell you the problem and apparently they got the solution. But you don't have to worry about any of that when you're tuning into BlackPower96 Radio, because again, this is a platform that supports the community through the content, of it, whether it's the music, whether it is the programming, the business support, all of that is, available, right? The amplification of local artists, unsigned talent, all of that is right there on BlackPower96. And our goal in the radio, BlackPower96's overall goal is to raise $10,000 in donation through its July fund drive. So if you know somebody with big, with wallets that stretch a little bit and can donate $10,000, go ahead and reach out to those contacts. If you're one of the contacts, go ahead and make that contribution. Just $10,000 to keep the station on air. You can do that. However, again, no contribution is too big or too small, but the station has an overall goal of $10,000 to raise throughout the month of July. And that is to fund a new transmitter for the station, which is a crucial piece of broadcasting equipment, as well as operating expenses for the rest of the year. So again, the One Africa Worldview show goal is $1,000 toward that overall $10,000 goal. And yes, we are calling on donations from you, our One Africa Worldview viewers.
Come on, y'all.
Yes.
Come on. And like she said, if you have it, do it. If you know somebody has it, do it. 1,000, 10,000, 100, $1. All of it adds up, y'all. All of it adds up.
Exactly.
Now, if you don't want us to know where it's coming from and you got one of these, big pockets, you can send that in anonymous also, and we will take that just as appreciative. So, yes. However, like we said, this is your station, y'all. So you're giving to yourself to keep this on. Keep this on. Keep this for you.
Yes, keep this for you. The opportunities that it offers to our community, let's keep those things available. And just to say further that your donation supports the Black community having its own radio station, self-reliant, community-controlled media capacity in the hands of the African working class. BlackPower96 is a project of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, or APEDF, which has a 30-year track record of developing institutions for African economic development and self-determination. So, we didn't just pop up overnight and just asking you, for your hard-earned resources, okay? We have a track record of transforming our communities through this work, through these institutions. So supporting this station means you are forwarding that mission of the African People's Education and Defense Fund. So again, throughout the show, you can make your contribution through any of the means that we've provided so far, or you can make your pledge. You can place a pledge in the chat. So if you can't contribute today, but you want to contribute to the One Africa Worldview show goal of $1,000, go ahead and place your pledge in the chat and we will shout you out. So again, we're going to say some more about this throughout the show. Don't be shy. Go ahead and make your donation. And we are going to tell you what donors can expect when they choose to support the station that supports them. So we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah, let's run it up, y'all. Run it up. Yes.
Let's go. By halfway mark, hopefully we halfway there, right? I really believe it. $1,000, we can do this. So, and I really believe we can do this, especially when they hear this next segment, which is the primary objective, which is being brought to you by none other than my co-host, the incredible promotions director for BlackPower96 Radio, Comrade Dr. Mariah, who's going to be reporting back from Essence Fest 2026. Uhuru, Dr. Mariah.
Uhuru, Comrade. Thank you for that great introduction. So yeah, y'all, just as you heard her say, For today's primary objective, we are taking you down to New Orleans to the 2026 Essence Festival. And we were in the building, y'all. We were on the ground, Black Power 96 Radio, myself, Comrade Talmadge. We had Siobhan with us as a producer. We had it going on this year, y'all. But we're not going to just talk about all the performers because you've heard it all, who was there performing, who wore what. We'll get into that a little bit. Just everything that was going on as far as in the crowds. And we're going to go really beneath the surface here. And just we're talking about Black media, y'all, Black business, culture, identity, just community power, as we mentioned, our community, the Black community, and what it means when thousands of African people gather, y'all, in one place to see ourselves reflected right back at us. So I represented Black Power 96 Radio at the festival alongside Comrade Talmadge, who worked the camera, y'all, and Siobhan as our producer, while we were media credentialed to just move through the festival as we do. And we covered the entire experience, y'all. And we went into the media room, we went into the beauty con, the vendor marketplace, author and creative programming. We checked out the Global Black Economic Forum and Swade's Men's Experience, just the whole festival itself, y'all. And let me tell you, New Orleans in July, it does not play. The heat is just it's like none other. And the heat, it follows you, it takes you, just takes you back, and it just puts you in a place to just make you remember every life decision that led you to go outside. But it was definitely worth it. And the people came, y'all, and they were just with all the sweat, all the glistening, still smiling, networking, just posing, shopping, the interviews and discussions that were going on, just making the culture happen in real time. And that is just really just a story that we want to just bring back to you today, because that was our experience. And y'all, what we saw is Black Power 96 just really entering a space, y'all, created by Black media itself and doing the work of the Black community and Black media right inside of it. And that's what we were. And as this really began, if you don't know, as a magazine that really gave Black women a mirror when it came to the mainstream media. And it's just really what mainstream media routinely ignored when it came to Black women. And it just really flattened us and just explained through just somebody else's eyes. So just over time, that magazine became a national platform. We all knew it. We saw it on all of our family members, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties, everyone's coffee tables. They're set at Essence Magazine, y'all. It just became a real cultural institution. And we saw this festival grow out of that. And the festival just really became a celebration of the magazine into one of the largest annual gatherings of the Black and African culture in the United States, y'all. And BP96 entered that space just like another, Black media tradition, the tradition of Black radio. And Black radio has never been only about the music. We don't want to get that twisted. It has been a messenger. It's been an organizer. Black radio is a town square, an emergency system when it comes to emergencies, y'all. It is a political classroom, a celebration space for our people, and nothing like a cultural memory tank when it comes to that. So when it came to the community and what Black media represents, that relationship really matters. And Essence represents all of that. It reached all of national Black media. And Black Power 96, it represents that whole intimacy. And we got a part of that and taking accountability of community of Black media. And one can reach millions when it comes to the Black media platforms, and others can just reach people by name. But know that all the local organizations, all the neighborhood, just all that came together and answered questions that really matter to our community, y'all. And all of it's necessary. The national Black media they can create the scale when it comes to stuff, when it comes to visibility and culture and influence. That's where the community comes in, y'all. And community Black media is our radio. Our radio stations are in our media, so right in our communities. So we can just, really able to preserve that local essence and that local culture, and that's what it is, the Essence Festival of Culture. So we began to challenge power just really close to home. Those discussions became just really about keeping ordinary people from disappearing behind the biggest names, y'all. And that is why our coverage did not just chase the celebrities when it came to Essence Festival this year. We captured the media workers, we captured the business owners, we talked with the attendees, we chat with the creators, the vendors, just really the people just even resting their feet because they were hurting. So now the people just holding fans because we said it was hot, y'all, and the people exchanging business cards with each other, and the people who stopped to tell a community radio station what Essence really meant to them. And without Black media, y'all, the public story of a festival like this, it really can become only the red carpets, the ticket prices, all about the celebrities and entertainers there, y'all, and the planes that we saw go viral for just 20 minutes, if anything. And whatever the algorithm really decides or deserves, that it needs that attention at that time. So with the Black media present, that story really expanded, y'all. And we was able to, we get the founder who flew it from another country to just introduce a brand. We get the woman who saved the money all year just to attend Essence Festival. We get the Black man finding a space where wellness and finance are discussed seriously. And we get the authors, we get the podcasters, we get the reality personalities, we get the queer creators, we get the local workers, and we get the community organizations. And I just want to be really clear here, very, very clear about something. Supporting Black media does not mean just refusing to critique it, y'all. You can't just accept everything that's given to you. No, we're not saying that by any means. Real support is not just blind loyalty by any means. Real support means understanding that these institutions, they matter. And they matter enough to demand that they serve the people well, y'all. And you heard it, just as we said, Black Power 96, that's what we do. And that's what we're all about. And it means protecting the platforms while also asking the questions about who's being represented, what's being represented here, and just who's being paid. Just as we mentioned, who's feeding this to you and why? That's what you have to answer. And just who really benefits when it comes to the economics of it all, just from the culture itself. And because we know when it comes to Black culture is expensive and Black culture is valuable, y'all, and Black culture is preyed on. So we have to get to the bottom of those answers. And what we can say is that I know one of the biggest questions after the 2025 festival is, what was it going to be like this year? Is it even going to happen? And, oh, it was too African, or it was too, all of that. We want to answer and see what it felt like when it came to this year. And so, y'all, the official 2026 theme itself was "We Love Us." And y'all, we do love us. And the daytime experience, it just really felt broader, y'all. And I will be honest, it felt more intimate this year. It felt more intentional. And when it comes to that, it's just really the simple, just thinking about the collections of the vendors, the people, the speakers. We saw it all there. And we saw Tiana Taylor and the whole company there. The aunties helped guide that creative direction this year. So the convention center held more than just these 20 curated experiences across. We saw beauty experiences, wellness. We saw the film festival, the literature, and those of you that are watching along, you can see some of the clips of what we had going on there. And we do have a fuller recap to come here. But yes, and when it comes to, we saw just talk with some of the literature makers, the food, the entrepreneurs, the economic development that's going on, y'all, in the African community. We saw other podcasters, just the whole community impact that the Black media has now, and just the whole impact of making our own programming. And that whole breadth really just mattered because the festival has something to answer after 2025, just as I said. And there's had to been this whole loud public debate about the whole logistics, the access, who has access to it, the whole production value, just the identity, and whether Essence really still feel rooted in the Black American culture that built this whole emotional foundation. And we had that discussion, and you can go back here, and we have it all the time right here on One Africa Worldview. As far as y'all, as you know, and we always say, we are all Africans, y'all. And there are also arguments over whether festivals had this whole Black identity, as we keep saying, and just really had how it expanded in a way that made some Black Americans really feel like, okay, they were being erased, and in a space that really is how they felt like is home. But the argument just was not always, was not graceful. We saw that too. And you can go and see some of those comments and some of those reactions from the past festivals. And just really because social media has never met a complicated cultural question. It could not flatten into a whole shouting match. And we have to remember that, y'all. So still underneath all that noise was a real concern. And that was a concern there. People care deeply about Essence. And you can see that. That's why you saw all of that conversation being created there. It's not just because it's just another event by any means. It is a memory, y'all. It is the aunties that we see. It's the cousins. It's our girlfriends, our church fans that we have in our hands, our the linen sets that we see, the statement earrings, the HBCU pride that we see, just the beauty samples, business cards being passed, all the panels that are being spoken at, and just somebody asking where you got that outfit before they even say hello to you. That's what it's about. And then in 2026, that whole thing just appeared to recognize that the festival has to hold multiple lanes at once, y'all. Because when it comes to African people, we are not all just one flavor. They're all different spectrums of this beautiful thing that we call Black. Black is in every shade, y'all. And it has to honor that whole legacy that really made New Orleans feel like home, and it has to make room for the broader African world in a part of that New Orleans home. And we saw that happening this year, just making sure to include the whole continental African, Caribbeans, Africans and Latin American even, and queer and global Black identities. We saw that throughout the festival, y'all. And the answer cannot really just be erased and pointed into one direction by any means. The answer has to be historically honesty, y'all, cultural respect, and enough room for our whole family. And that's what it's all about. Yeah. So the festival goers that we actually talked to, they really deserve applause, y'all. They came and it was just a feeling, the vibe that when our people get together, that's what we felt in the air. And that's where we always go. And that's what we look forward to. And just our people to be able to survive everything that's going on in the world and come together and just celebrate each other. And just people just can't prepare, y'all. We know what to take when it comes to New Orleans. And you saw, like I said, those folding fans. We had the water bottles. You saw our just, we know to wear comfortable shoes. We saw now we have learned to bring portable chargers, y'all. We have our makeup in our bags. We have just really a kind of determination that, Black people, we're going to look good no matter what, but we're going to also be smart about it, and we're going to be comfortable, and we are going to come together in that culture. And that's what that vibe was all about, y'all. We're seeing the whole family out and the whole family together. And yeah, they were hot, and I'm gonna keep saying that I was hot, but we all kept smiling, and just even being tired. And it's always that. I remember one year at Essence Festival, coming out of the Superdome late at night, and just the crowd, just everyone's tired. It's 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and we just started. Just the chant came, no sleep, and just that memory always comes back to me, and just hearing the whole everyone, we're tired as hell, y'all, but shouting no sleep, because that's what it's all about when we come together. And just still that networking, and that's the strongest part, and just that coming together through all the sweat, still posing for the pictures, y'all, still just that humanity. In humanity, as we say, it may be fragile. It may be fragile right now, but these festival goers, y'all, you couldn't tell this weekend. You could not tell, and wearing our best outfits and just apparently being built, just really taking it all in and taking and loving on each other. So yeah, as the theme said, we love us, and that's what it was all about, loving on each other and loving on ourselves. So yeah, we spoke with attendees about what really actually brought them to Essence, and like we said, we do have a video that we'll put together, that, and that is to come, and you'll see it, on all of our different socials and the Substacks and everything that we mentioned about. And then also, of course, follow all of our social platforms, because we do have smaller content that'll continue to be rolled out throughout the rest of the month here. And just really, we were speaking about how they're managing just, small things, just even that's the heat, but then also how are they managing things when it comes to this humanity now. So, and just really what they are enjoying, just giving and sharing each other, just sharing each other that love that we kept speaking about, and why the festivals still matter to them. And those conversations just really reminded us that Essence is not simply this whole musical lineup, y'all. It is a feeling, and it is a feeling that we definitely felt in the air in New Orleans. And it is the feeling of seeing our Black people everywhere, in every different age group, y'all, every different shade, every different style, every profession, and every version of self-expression. We saw it there at the festival. And it is the strangers just really just being able to be familiar with one another, compliment one another, just strike up conversation like, you're my sister, you're my cousin, you're my auntie, you're my friend, girl. So it's women gathering in the beauty spaces and celebrating Black beauty. It's the creators just really exchanging contacts and creative ideas, y'all. It's the business owners meeting the customers face to face. We saw so much networking when it came to that. And just the people who may never meet again, sharing a little laugh, a little moment along the way. And that's what the culture and the recognizing that and that cultural moment was so powerful, y'all. So everyday human layer, just exactly why community media has to be present. And that's why we were there. And that's why we will continue to be at the Essence Festival. The person without a publicist, they still have a story, y'all. And those are the people that this year we made it a point to speak to. And the woman just really just cooling herself off over there in the corner and just made, she may have traveled across the country to come to this festival to be around her people where she can feel safe and she can be celebrated. And we wanted to highlight and speak to those people. So like I said, keep it locked into our different recaps, our socials, so you'll see those conversations over there. And like I said, we spoke to those vendors standing behind the tables, y'all. Just they risk their savings and they just borrow money from family members and save to be in these rooms and work to be with their culture, y'all. And these stories are the ones that matter. These are stories that you don't hear about. And these are the stories that Comrade Talmadge and I, Siobhan and I, we said this year, that's what we'll highlight. And that's what we wanted to make sure that we brought and amplified those voices, y'all. So yeah, like we'll move over and you can see here, as like I said, some of our viewers that are watching along, you can see the Black business there. And when it came that they had a vendor marketplace. And I'll speak about that just a little here. The marketplace was one of the clearest examples of culture becoming economic activity, y'all. And every booth, it told a story, and we made it a point to try to speak to all of the vendors as possible because, like I said, each person had a story. And there was one point, y'all, where they were lined up to speak to Black Power 96, and that's so powerful. And we're so proud and thankful for that. And some people, they were just telling us the story of what birthed their business and just how they scaled it, and just some introducing the fashions that they brought, different wellness products that were introduced to us. Like I said, we saw authors that were, speaking about their books, jewelry, we saw art, food, just even some services, y'all, that were being offered, and just handmade goods. And that's just one of my personal favorites. So, and some they, had those polished brands that, we're all familiar with. And others, they were just behind a table. And like I mentioned, we don't know what it took for them to get there, but they were there too. And just representing just that years of work, family, late nights, faith, y'all, debt, as we mentioned, risk, and just pure nerve. And BP96 really spoke with businesses, including, we just to highlight some, we spoke with Kay's Garden, Baskin Lather, DOS Clothing out of Nigeria, y'all, Life Angels, Canvas Beauty, and just all these other entrepreneurs that brought their brands right there to the city. And they were all from here in the United States, across the states, but also across the globe, all different parts of Africans, y'all. And we met entrepreneurs that just really connected. And y'all, everything, like we said, from Toronto, Canada to Lagos, just showing how Essence really remains a magnet from people across the African world. And we answer that question through that: is there space and there's lanes for us all to come together, because we are all Africans, y'all. And we all understood that showing up in New Orleans can put a brand directly in front of each other. So right in front of the culture, nonetheless. So Canvas Beauty founder Stormy Steele, she really represented the power of turning a personal vision. And you can see, if you're watching alone here, her activation. And it's particularly powerful with Stormy Steele, because Stormy Steele is from Mississippi. And Stormy Steele brought her brand to Essence Festival for the first time, and has become just one of the major beauty influencers just in a short amount of time, actually one of the largest TikTok sellers, and just breaking all kinds of goals and all kinds of records when it comes to herself. So just being able to see, like I said, Stormy and just Baskin Leather, which was founded by African Shayna Rainford. We just reflected just another familiar Black entrepreneurial story, y'all. And we spoke with just taking these live experiences, like turning them into a product line and that serves a real community of our people. We spoke with Angel Love, who showcased her scrubs, y'all, Life Angels, just this medical scrub line that is super stylish, and just really connected this whole professional identity, style, and ownership when it comes to that. So it's just also a reminder that Black media, y'all, going back to that, and just the Black business, they need each other. No one else is telling those two stories. No one else is talking about these brands. And Black businesses need media platforms that understand the audience and can tell the story with cultural intelligence and tell it the right way, y'all. So Black media needs businesses, listeners, readers, and sponsors willing to invest in the platforms doing the work. And that's what Black Power 96 is doing, y'all, doing the work. So that's why Black Power 96 continues to need your support. And yet it's so powerful to be here and be able to share that story with our culture here. That was even a bigger point here. So when Black entrepreneurs really come together and they support Black media, y'all, and Black media supports Black entrepreneurs, the network becomes even stronger and they cannot stop that. But just it's so much powerful than standing alone, y'all. And that is the economic lesson beneath the whole shopping and the beauties and the culture and all that other shit. That what's going on there. Culture without ownership cannot generate anything else, y'all. Remember that. We have to own it, and we talk about that all the time right here on One Africa Worldview. So while that we don't want our wealth leaving our people, we want our wealth staying in the people who created it, staying in the people who earn it, and staying with our people and our culture, y'all. And we just really want to give applause to those businesses there when it comes to that. And the real objective, y'all, is to remember that not only to be visible inside the marketplace and inside this capitalism that we see all the time, it is to control the production, distribution of a good product, the media that surrounds it and supports it, and just this whole capital that comes back into our Black institutions, y'all. And it's just this work that becomes sustainable, a work that we say and we speak about all the time right here on One Africa Worldview. So we'll just speak a little bit here about some of the other activations here. And real quick, I wanted to talk about BeautyCon because that becomes almost a whole nother festival within the festival. And that's one of the highlights when you hear about all the Black owned and the Black products, beauty products. That's where everyone is headed to, is BeautyCon. And you can see the lines from here and just lined up to get into BeautyCon. And BeautyCon just really places Black beauty at the center of the festival through their product demonstrations we saw there, workshops, they have brand activations, whole tutorials going on when it comes to just how even to pose in your pictures, y'all, what shades of makeups and beauty products that we need for our skins and our hair types, and just the conversations we saw going on amongst Black women, y'all. And we saw Canvas Beauty that we mentioned. We saw Grow Good, who's actually Cardi B's product. We saw Yale, Miel. We saw Brown Sugar Babe. We spoke with Baskin Lather and just all these other beauty brands and just personalities moving throughout this whole BeautyCon space, y'all. And Black beauty, it has never been shallow. That is something that we are so proud and so upfront and in your face about. And we saw it there. It carries something in our blood, y'all. It carries something in our culture. It is a memory. It is a memory that no matter what else you take from us, you will not take that pride of us always looking good. And you saw that happening here. And that's something that we saw and was so proud to celebrate there. And just that labor, the creativity of what am I going to wear and how am I going to present that look, just the confidence, it becomes a ritual, y'all. It goes beyond just the beauty. It becomes a ritual of a part of our community and our culture. So yeah, it lives in the salons, y'all. It lives in the kitchens, the barber chairs, the beauty supply aisles. We're watching YouTube tutorials and taking auntie advice. We're just what protective styles that we can choose, what silk presses. We were talking about braids, wigs, lashes, air control, y'all, and just a whole sacred ceremony of getting ready. And we all know that. All my ladies especially, you're familiar with that. It's BeautyCon, it really understood that assignment, and beauty, it really knew what beauty is also. Yeah, cannot forget when it comes to that. So Black women have shaped the beauty standards, y'all. The product categories, hair culture, language, and global trends for generations. That's nothing new. Often while receiving less ownership, less investment, and less credit when industries built from our influence. So the space also reflected the influence of LGBTQ, y'all, gender expansive creatives across beauty, style, media, and culture. And that inclusion is not just an extra feature that somebody just graciously added. We did not feel that way at all. We felt that Black culture cannot be celebrated, honestly, without pretending that queer and gender expansive Black people have not helped create the language, fashion, beauty, music, nightlife, visual style, and cultural innovation everybody else eventually adopts, y'all. And we know that. So yeah, just the whole thing when it comes to that, and we will go back about to it, is just that feeling of community when we see each other's face and we see someone that looks and looking back at us, and just that smile, that was so powerful, that connection. And just Essence just really creates this kind of environment, y'all, just where media, television, the beauty that we speak about, the entrepreneurship, just all of this is going on, entertainment, all inside of this one community, and just really move through the same halls and spaces, and seeing that happening is so powerful. So throughout the whole weekend, I just really connected myself with some familiar faces, and like just kind of highlight. I mean, I'm sure we're familiar with Lala Anthony, Cynthia Bailey, Stormy Steele, Cliff Ramir, and the Femi Boys. And we had members of the Bell Collective cast, Tokyo Vanity, and just all kind of people across our television, beauty, business, and culture, y'all. So these moments are fun and naturally, and I have to admit that, but I'm not going to pretend I became too academically sophisticated to even be able to just enjoy a good picture. But I have degrees, not immunity, y'all, not immunity from excitement. So yes, this moves me just like, and when it comes to the deeper value I see in this is, I'll keep going back to it, is the networking of our people creating space for us. And a hallway conversation that can actually turn into a whole interview, and just a quick introduction that become a future collaboration, just y'all, a photo that become a media relationship, vendor conversations becoming long-term Black partnerships, just familiar faces, and I'll keep going back to that, becoming a reminder that culture is smaller, it's warmer, y'all, and more connected than the industry walls sometimes try to make it. And just Black media workers, those relationships matter. Black Power 96 being on the ground there, telling our story, being a part of it, being visible to our community, that was a part of it. And just one of those better questions will bring our community concerns into larger rooms, y'all, and connect people who might otherwise remain separated. When I say that separation, geography, y'all, platforms, economics, and when it comes to just different positions in the industry. So the challenge is to make sure that networking is not just reduced to this whole collective pictures, that people have large followings, y'all. That's not what this was all about this time. And I'll keep going back to, we talked to those that that wanted to create a sense of identity, a sense of understanding of everyone, create relationships with them all, information from them all, access from them all, taking accountability of what Black Power 96 was there to do, and the possibility of building something that served the community after everybody actually left New Orleans was what it was all about. So just cannot say it much about how the culture is all of this, y'all. The culture is just they have all the broader, the daytime programming. There's the nightly concerts and all of that going on. There's all the private parties and all the events that's happening all, and we checked all of that out. But like I said, it was all about our people coming together. So when it comes to the whole, the programming, like I said, we saw the Essence authors and the creators and podcast festival just really treating Black storytelling as serious cultural work during this. And the Global Black Economic Forum created space for conversations about policy, capital, leadership, and economic development. And we even checked out the Sway's Men experience, where our men was over there centered around Black men's culture, Sway's Lounge, and just the wellness discussions, finances, just the identity being the fatherhood, y'all, business and community. And that word we keep going back to. And there were just spaces here for food, health, beauty, books, business, gospel, community advocacy, y'all, fashion, and creators coming together. And the festival is not asking Black culture to become just this one narrow identity. Festivals allow many expressions to come together and exist at the same time. So that answers that bigger question of how did it feel this year? And that's what it was all about, is I felt that this year, the festival allowed a space for all of our people to exist and come together at the same time. And that brings us directly into the One Africa Worldview. And just African people are just not just one people that can say that we're different because of where we are. African people are maybe different because we're in different locations, but we're all one person, y'all. We're all Africans. And that discussion we cannot go on and on about. Just dispersed people being across the world does not mean that we're not all Africans. And just as the slavery and colonialism, all of that, we'll try to take that that thought away from you and try to create that division. And that's not happening here on One Africa Worldview. We're bringing you the truth when it comes to that unity requires us to recognize that regardless of the various shapes that African culture has actually taken, y'all, it does not erase the fact that we are one African people. And here on One Africa Worldview, we will tell you that all the time, y'all, that we have consistently revealed how our various cultural expressions aren't too different from one another, no matter where we are on this planet. So, yeah, all Black history and culture is Africa's history and culture, y'all. And that is one of the bigger things to take from this. And Africa has expanded beyond the continent's borders because of our forced dispersal. It's our forced dispersal. We're still African, y'all. So the correct response to the difference is not separation, y'all, and it's not erasure of any specific tradition, food, culture, or anything of the sort. It is unity with the historical accuracy, not with the lies, not with what they try to tell you or make you feel or believe. Accuracy, y'all, and is recognizing the shared struggle against colonialism, exploitism, and cultural theft. So we're already struggling against a whole vicious colonizer and their whole parasitic social system that we see and we know and we live in that exists. We cannot allow these false national identities and borders to drive a wedge through the African nation, y'all. It's 2 billion strong. So I want to just really, really briefly talk about the concerts before we wrap up here. BP96 covered the daytime experiences thoroughly, and we did not actually attend the Superdome concert series, so I'm not going to perform just any kind of eyewitness journalism of what was happening there. But when it comes to that, we've done it. We know what it's about. Like we said, we wanted to focus on the voices that don't get the exposure, y'all. And Official Essence coverage reported that, when it comes to Friday, that they opened with Michelle Obama in conversation with Keke Palmer, followed by music from Lotto. We saw artists Kalani, Cardi B, and others. And then Saturday, centered around R&B, which we saw there's different generations there. We saw Brandy and Monica, Patti LaBelle, Babyface, Leon Thomas, and Josh Levi performing. And then Sunday actually closed over there at the Superdome with George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic, Dougie Fresh, and he had certain guests there. Public Enemy, and an Aaliyah tribute curated by Missy Elliott, actually, and T.I. performing with the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra over there. So that lineup connected the generations of all those different Black music that we know, and just from the funk and the foundational hip hop to contemporary R&B, and we even saw the Southern rap there with the Philharmonic Orchestra. So those are, just those highlights, they matter, y'all. And I don't want to reduce those performances, because people do come, that is a part of the festival, but it gets so much discussion. It gets so much time there. And just the unique contribution is the story behind the Superdome stage, y'all. And just plenty of outlets can tell you who performed. BP96, we're going to show you what was happening in the media room. We're going to show you what was happening in those vendor booths, y'all, what was happening at those beauty activations, what was happening in those author spaces, what was happening over there with the people who do not get that voice, y'all, and those hallway conversations that we spoke about, and just the everyday community experience is something that we wanted to stay grounded in. And just when it comes, was the festival perfect? Of course not. Nothing's perfect. And nothing, especially this large, y'all, is going to operate and function without any hiccups. So it just, when it comes to human beings, just simply being human, and just really just human beings insisting on and organizing major events in New Orleans in July. I mean, that could be a failure all alone, but that's something that we all overcome. And there were just still questions about, when it came to certain things, when it came to access, just when it came to, there was some lines and some queue issues, some scheduling issues when it came to some of the speakers and performers and talent and things of that sort. But, and even when it came down to the crowd flow, but and I saw some discussions around even the affordability when it came to the ticket pricings and things of that sort. But whether the evening concert model really remains strong as it once was, those discussions arise there. And all those things are discussions that we saw happening before and up to the festival this year. And just one local analysis even described Friday night as being sold out. So that answers that question right there, y'all. And Saturday, it was super well attended from what we were hearing. And Sunday, it was as usual, and that's something that happens every year as people start heading out on Sunday. So it'll be a little sparser. But when it came to just attendance, just really describing when it came to the convention center, and we were there. We were in the convention center. We were at the parties. We were at the daytime events. We saw that just it seemed like even more people this year than before. And we saw all the robust activity, y'all. And just the local news coverage also noted that the festival's agreement with New Orleans was reaching a renewal point and placing new attention on public incentives, attendance, and the event's long-term economic value to the city. So those were major points that were being looked at beforehand. And that conversation, it should not be reduced just to people cheering for Essence, just or failing to even pretending every criticism is an attack on actual Black culture, y'all. Remember that. Institutions survive when they listen, adapt, and remain accountable to the people whose loyalty built them. And yeah, so when those conversations were happening, they had to be answered and they had to be listened to and had to be responded to. So yeah, if public money is involved, y'all, the public has a right to ask what New Orleans workers, Black-owned local businesses, artists, neighborhoods, and cultural institutions receive in return. If Essence presents itself as a homecoming for our people, then the people who maintain the home should benefit from that gathering nonetheless. So yeah, we'll just kind of close this out about speaking about bringing home that culture. And Black Power 96 went to Essence Festival to capture the culture beyond the stage, y'all. And what we brought back was a portrait of Black media in motion. And we'll just keep saying that Black business in bloom, Black networking at work, and Black culture refusing to be reduced to one lane. And if we wanted these stories to keep being told, y'all, we have to support the platforms telling them. Support Essence and hold them accountable. Support Black Power 96 Radio. Support Black newspapers, Black radio, Black podcasters, Black magazines, Black filmmakers, Black photographers, and Black creators, y'all. Those that support our community anyway. When Black media is strong, the culture has a record. It has a record of our history, it has a record of our action, a record of our impact. When Black media is supported, the community has a voice, y'all. When Black media is present, our stories do not have to wait for permission. And when Black media should begin to translate dual and continuing power, seizing the capability to do for ourselves, tell our story, do for us, just as we do with Black Power 96 Radio, y'all. So stay connected to Black Power 96 Radio for our full Essence recap, as we mentioned. And we'll see some videos over there. We'll see some social media posts, some chats, all that going on over there, vendor spotlights, some of the fashion, some of the style that we saw in the business. We told you, our people, we do it, y'all. And just the familiar faces that you may know and you are going to recognize. All that over there is in our coverage from the Essence Festival 2026 in New Orleans. And yeah, this has been our primary objective. But before we go on, like I said, I have been going to Essence for years, y'all. So this was the 10-year anniversary of one of my favorite Essences. 2016. Well, you see, my girl Mariah Carey was at that one. Yeah, so we had Faith Evans, Maxwell, and some of the others. Yeah. So I had to go and get the 10 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was Essence Festival, Black Power 96. We had a good time, y'all. And like I said, stay locked in because we'll keep this conversation going, of course. Let us know what you think. Keep that conversation. Any questions, all of that, put it in the comments, and we are here for it.
For Dr. Mariah, thank you for taking us to Essence Fest. I was practically there. I was there just now with this coverage. Amazing. And she said she's not new to this. She's true to this. Okay. You saw it. You saw the 2016 t-shirt. Thank you so much for this amazing coverage, Dr. Mariah. And I just want to echo, people to stay tuned with Black Power 96 to see the coverage. I mean, if you thought that video that we were showing, while Dr. Mariah was playing was dynamic, then you're going to want to see the final package And also shout out again to Comrade Talmadge, and also I heard you mention Shaban there as well, helping to capture this. So thank you, comrades. These are incredible volunteers, and they just represented so well Black Power 96 and bringing this station to the attention of so many new people. And that is also a perfect way to win greater support for this radio station. And right now, that's what we're going to do. We're going to call on all of you, our loyal listeners and viewers. If you have not already, this is the time. Go ahead and make a contribution to the Black Power 96 Radio Fund Drive. As a reminder, One Africa Worldview is a program of Black Power 96 Radio, and this institution is 100% funded by you. When you make a contribution to this station, you make it possible for the African community to have access to their own radio station, their own platform, to have discussions just as the one we've had just now with Dr. Mariah's report back. And again, there are many ways that you can make a contribution. You can go to black96.org/Africa. You can go to Cash App, $Black Power 96, or you can mail a check to Black Power 96, 1245 18th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33705. And it's up there on the screen if you're watching. And we have comrades who are sustaining members. These are people who donate who make a contribution, a recurring contribution every month. And we want to acknowledge our sustaining members and also call on you to become a sustaining member today. You can, select a different amount to donate every month, and it will be automatic, recurring, and you know that you are contributing to the radio station that you love to listen to. So those sustaining members are MQ, Reginald, Loria, Johan, and Janice in Florida, Mwezi, Ina, and Tracy in California, Absalom in New York, Becky and Leah in Minnesota, Fofi, Ruby, Brendan, and Stephanie in Missouri, Michael in Wisconsin, Soliana near DC, Kwame in Virginia, Ron in Texas, Ryan, Illinois, Janet in Washington, Virginia and Indiana, and Renee in Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for your, for your recurring contribution.
Thank you.
Again, these supporters give a monthly donation to provide a stable base of funding for the station. And we encourage anyone who is not already a monthly sustainer to consider giving that kind of consistent, reliable support to the station. That's $5, $10, $25 or more a month. You can be contributing to the station. And we also want to shout out to all the supporting members who have already contributed during this drive. There are too many to name. So if you did not hear your name mentioned, we just want you to know that we appreciate every contribution that you make. They all make a difference. And Dr. Mariah, can you tell people what they receive when they donate?
Yes. And you heard it. Everything makes a difference, y'all. Whether it's $1, whether it's 1,000, or is it 10,000, y'all. Every dollar makes a difference when it comes to that. And just everyone who actually donates will get a magnet with the Black Power 96 logo on it, no matter how much you donate there. And if you are able to give $100 or more today, or start a monthly contribution of $10 a month or more, we want to thank you with the Black Power 96 Radio Fanny Pack. We had these in black and a few, and even red, I think, a few years ago. And they were just really been just requests for a return of these fanny packs for their back, y'all. And this one is black and yellow this time. So
return of the pack.
Yeah. And you heard her mention that, the sustaining members, y'all, one less coffee a month is a sustainment here. Any amount counts, y'all. And if you're able to give, like we said, you're able to give 300 or more even today, our starting monthly contribution of $25 a month or more, we want to thank you with the Black Power 96 Radio t-shirt. This super stylish t-shirt that if you're viewing today, you're able to see here on the screen. If not, you're able to check out blackpower96.org to check out what that looks like. But like I said, $25 a month or more, and you will get this t-shirt right here, y'all. And if you're able to give $600 right now or more today, or start a monthly contribution of at least $50 a month or more, we want to thank you with a Black Power 96 Radio waterproof wireless speaker. You can take this everywhere, y'all, so you can listen to your station everywhere. Black Power 96 wireless speaker here, y'all. So we want to just really thank you to those who have already made a contribution to our $1,000 goal here today. And just we have received so much support here. And we want to keep these donations coming, y'all. We have 1,000 to raise here. We have 1,000 to raise, y'all, for One Africa Worldview show. 10,000 for Black Power 96 Radio, for your radio station, Black Power 96 Radio. And we just want to show it, just keep it coming, y'all. We want our strong support here to show up and show out for us, and just not just only today, not only whenever this is airing on Thursday, it's throughout the month of July and throughout the rest of the year, y'all. Keep it coming because it's your station. In order to keep it on the air, it's your responsibility. It's something that you have to do. It's something that we are calling on you to do, is to make those donations, y'all. And you can donate at blackpower96.org/Africa. That's blackpower96.org/Africa.
Uhuru, yes, it is on your screen. It is on the QR code for you to scan. It is Cash App $BlackPower96. Go ahead and make your contribution. Shout out to Comrade Lisa, Minneapolis, MQ in Florida, Comrade Jamal, who made contributions today. Thank you so much for contributing and supporting this radio station, our One Africa Worldview podcast. We see you all the time tuning in. We love our loyal listeners and viewers. Thank you all so much for your support of this show and for Black Power 96 Radio. So we are, and Comrade Mariah, I don't know if you saw, but the chat was lighting up during your report back. I know we're getting to the end here, but you had some amazing chats, some great comments from our viewers today. So thank you, comrades, for your engagement in today's program. Shout out to Comrade Tiffany. Tiffany always on with us. Says great show today. All that coverage was amazing. Fantastic job. Uhuru, I unite. And as we get to the end of our show, we're going to just shift gears a little bit. And we want to take some time on our show today, just spending a few more minutes past our normal time, because we wanted to develop a tribute segment to our brother Nolan Wells, who is an 18-year-old African in Mississippi who was actually laid to rest today. And you've likely, heard the story of Nolan in the media. He mysteriously disappeared after going on a boat trip with a group of white, quote unquote, friends, and this past July 4th. And his remains were discovered days after the group returned. And of course, his death has rightfully drawn skepticism from the African community, because we're not buying the accounts of the colonizers who accompanied him. A judge in Jackson County stated that her son was one of the people on the boat. So this has contributed to growing distrust around the investigation that's currently underway, because we know how the colonial state operates. And we know that they investigate themselves to come up with their own conclusions, their own stories, to be able to satisfy, whatever the contradiction is. And what most of us understand is the history of colonial violence and terror that African people have been subject to for centuries. So it's not unwarranted. It's not a random that we are, looking at this with the utmost scrutiny and, and just being able to sum it up for what it is. We have been surrounded by white lynch mobs and strung up as part of a literal national pastime. Before there was MLB, there was the lynching of African people in this country that was celebrated by the colonizer inside the US. We have witnessed our deaths be met with cheers, literal cheers on social media by colonizers, especially in the instance of direct colonial state brutality and murder. We have seen cases, and this is recent history. I'm not even talking about the gruesome brutal history of our, colonial domination that has transpired over hundreds of years. I'm talking within the last 10 years. These are cases that we have seen permeate, our timelines, our newspapers. We've seen cases of white women who've adopted African children to either torture and or murder them. We have seen cases of white quote unquote friends and peers conspiring to assault and or murder Africans. And those investigations conveniently end up turning cold. And if you might recall the death of one Tamla Horsford in Georgia in 2018, African woman found in the backyard of a home where she had attended a sleepover with, you guessed it, a group of white women. But the colonial state has a real problem on their hands with the death of Nolan Wells. Their problem is that the culture of violence, first of all, that is born from the colonial mode of production is etched in our brains. So this history that I'm talking about is a history that we recall, we know it, we live it, we experience it, and we encounter it every single day. I mean, if you have a child, if you have a brother or sister that has to go out, into this world, it's something that you constantly live with, the reality that, they are constantly under attack or threat of attack. So this is something we live with. It's in our consciousness. But Nolan also has a mother, has a father that, are fighting, for justice, and they have the support of the African nation behind them. And that's really critical because, through, normally what they attempt to do is try to throw all this stuff, sweep it under the rug, bury it, ignore it as though it never, occurred. And hoping that we would forget, or hoping that they do it so much that it is normalized that we don't even question this kind of violence over us. But, they've made a mistake. There are questions, and the people are making the struggle. The people are making the noise. And again, being able to sum it up and call it what it is without their, conclusive evidence and et cetera, et cetera. So we want to take, again, this moment to honor Brother Nolan and his family, which includes our dear comrade Talmadge, who we've talked about, several times during the course of the show, who was there with Comrade Dr. Mariah on the ground in New Orleans, capturing, this footage, who is a, beloved volunteer with BlackPower96. And he was also Comrade Nolan's cousin. And we want to extend our profound condolences, as well as our platform, to this case and to this struggle, so that our people have the ability to support this family, and that we have to deepen our commitment to overturning this vicious social system, which forces our mothers to have to bury their children. That is abnormal. That is not normal. That is a fixture of the colonial mode of production of this social system that has for centuries robbed African children from their African mothers and fathers. So it is on us as revolutionaries, as, anti-colonial organizers, to deepen our commitment to overturning that system that makes that a reality, that attempts to normalize that process. And we best honor Brother Nolan and all African martyrs when we commit to organize to end this system. That is the true way in which we uphold the lives of Brother Nolan and, again, all of our African martyrs. So, we conclude this tribute by saying, long live Nolan Wells, justice for the Wells and Walmsley family. And we just want to take a few seconds for our moment of silence. Uhuru. Long live. And again, we want to thank you, comrades, so much, and thank you for staying on, with us longer as we, took this time. And we are, about to move to wrap today's episode. But again, we want to remind everyone to support the institutions that support you, support our community, that uphold and uplift our community. And, that institution, that fits that definition is BlackPower 96.3 FM. So support Black Power 96, support the work of these incredible comrades that brought you this dynamic coverage and put Black Power 96 in this space, which is absolutely necessary. And before we officially wrap up today's program, Comrade Dr. Mariah, we do have some announcements, and I want to know, can you take us through those quickly?
Yes. Okay, comrades, it's going down tomorrow, y'all. We are here, July 21st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be a community gathering at the Georgia State University College of Law, located at 85 Park Place Northeast in Atlanta, with professors and students to rally support for the precedent-setting appeal hearing for the Uhuru 3 happening on Wednesday, July 22nd. We're inviting everyone to pack the court, y'all, in support of the Uhuru 3 appeal hearing. And please arrive by 8:30 a.m. as we gather outside the Elbert P. Tuttle Court of Appeals, located at 56 Forsyth Street Northwest in Atlanta. That's 56 Forsyth Street Northwest in Atlanta, y'all. Be there at 8:30. And the hearing begins at 9 a.m. and your presence matters, y'all. And following the hearing, there will be from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. You can join us for a public summary and debrief featuring Chairman Amali Yeshitela, members of the Uhuru 3 legal team, law students, and everyone else will be there. Lunch will be provided, y'all, and this event will also take place at the Georgia State University College of Law at 85 Park Place Northeast in Atlanta, Georgia. And for all events not mentioned here, y'all, you can visit burningspear.com/events calendar to see everything upcoming happening in your area and online that you can get connected with. That is the burningspear.com/events. So yeah, that's it for announcements, y'all. And this is the end of our show today. So we don't want you to forget to donate, just as we asked, to Black Power 96 Radio, your radio station at BlackPower96.org/Africa.
Uhuru, Comrade Dr. Mariah, thank you for taking us through those announcements. Also, thank you to Comrade Bakri, who made a contribution to our overall $1,000 goal. That is all that we have for you today. Check back with us next week for our season 5 finale. We've got an exciting lineup to talk about the Uhuru Bakery and Cafe grand opening coming to St. Louis, Missouri. You do not want to miss it. This is going to make your mouth water. Monday, July 27th, it is the season 5 finale of the One Africa Worldview podcast. So do not forget to subscribe to the Burning Spear TV YouTube channel so you can know when we are live. As always, until next week, One Africa,
One Nation.
One Nation.